guys? I'm back with a Mr. Hammer video for you guys today. 3 disturbing true Home Alone horror stories. Occupy 3 minutes. I stop how my coaster. Ignore it. I'm really conscious about it. I hate it so much. It's daytime, as you can tell. So you're probably gonna hear my parents bitching or talking or something. That's why I record at nighttime. Sometimes I wish I lived alone, but at the same time I really wish I didn't. Well, I don't, but I'm glad I don't. That's what I mean. So yeah, we have Mr. Nightmare. Sorry I'm late for this video. It is Friday. I'm recording this actually on Friday, 2:23 p.m. So, starting. Of course, around the time I was going to start recording, my dad was like, yeah, I'm just going to fix this hole in the wall. Like, yeah, great. Of course you wanted to do it now and I'm doing a video, right? Anyways, I already did my introduction. Starting again. Only like 20 minutes later. Not a big deal. Nothing. So yeah, Home Alone stories. This is like, it's ironic because I was saying sometimes I wish I lived alone, but then this is Home Alone stories, so I'm probably going to change my mind right after this video. But no, definitely nice living with someone, family or partner, whatever kind of family, but it can be annoying too. There's no privacy. Like I have my own room, which is great. Privacy's okay, but you know, it still can be annoying. Anyways, 21 minutes. Three disturbing, true Home Alone horror stories. Let's go.
So recently, I had an experience while I was at a friend's house alone watching his dog that...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually there was a comment that I saw. It was like 1 or 2 comments that I read. I don't even know why I was looking for comments, but it said like Mr. Nightmare has his own story, I'm pretty sure. So I think Mr. Nightmare has his own story, so it's like, damn, Mr. Nightmare gets scared too. Like if you can scare Mr. Nightmare, then you must be pretty scary then.
So recently, I had an experience while I was at a friend's house alone watching his dog that inspired me to do another Home Alone themed video. I spent so much time reading stories of people's horrific experiences that I forget these things could happen to me too.
Yeah, exactly. And anything could happen to you. Jeez. A lot of people. Like, geez, that's a lot of emails.
In a bit of a different fashion, I'll tell that experience I had after the viewer submitted stories at the end of the video. A more positive experience I would also like to talk about is my experience with Scentbird, a fragrance subscription service that allows you to choose new design.
That's nice. That's
that
nice.
makes sense. Class, looking to start igniting again.
Thank you, Christian Mercer.
Growing up, I was raised in rural Michigan. There was hardly anything to do. If you like staring at trees and crops and lots of alone time, that was the place to be. I got out of there as soon as I got a car and enough money to move. I'm not a nature hater or anything, but I'd pick being by a big city any day.
No, nature's pretty, I mean, obviously they're not asking my opinion, but honestly, I like nature a lot. Like nature's like really good. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely would prefer to like be, you know, near trees and lakes, and that's always really nice.
My parents don't own that property anymore. They sold it 5 years ago, but to describe it, it was a 3-acre property.
Wow.
The house itself was pretty big, and there was a storage building out back.
That's a fucking amazing house, bro. That must be like millions of dollars, I'm not gonna lie to you. Because like, I know in Toronto, like, there was like a tiny shed. Maybe like, you guys see this, right? You guys see where my mouse is right now?
I was 13.
Maybe like this up to here, that was $1 million. Just that. So this.
When this happened.
So
My parents went storage
15 or
building out
18?
back. I was 13 when this happened.
No, I heard 8. I heard 15 or 18, 13. Okay, down.
My parents would leave me alone often at this age. They trusted me because I matured at a young age and I had responsibilities on the property. It was a weekend, and I was playing Vice City on my PS2 in the living room.
PS2?
Suddenly,
wow.
A loud metallic bang came from outside somewhere in the yard. I right away ran to every window I could to look outside to see if I could see something.
Like what time was it though? It was nighttime, I'm assuming, but what time was it at?
And I didn't see anything.
I'm
I got to the window looking out to the storage building out back. The door to it was completely open. I went immediately to grab the rifle from the closet and go outside.
Damn, 13 years old with a
I made
rifle?
my presence known, shouting who's in there, to no avail. When I got to the door, I made it known I had a gun before looking inside. There was a bunch of stuff in there, from the sit-down mower to the quad to infinite little lawn care items. Someone could have been hiding behind any of that stuff. Even as a kid, I didn't scare easily, but at that moment, I got really unsettled, and so I closed the door to the building and went back inside the house. I locked the door and then sat at the window for the longest time, watching the storage building, expecting the door to open at any second. That door was heavy and impossible to just open by itself. It was simply a fact that someone came and opened it. Whether they were still inside of the building, I wasn't sure. I decided to go call my dad and ask his opinion. I went to the kitchen to the landline phone and called my dad's cell phone. He didn't pick up, so I left a voicemail. This was back when you'd still have to leave someone a voicemail because texting wasn't mainstream. After that, I went back to sitting next to the window, but now I put on a TV show in the background to make this less monotonous. I took the phone with me. I was probably about to give up when I heard creaks from upstairs. My heart was now in my throat.
Upstairs?
I had to ask myself the big question. Was I working myself up, or was someone here? I had a serious guard dog mentality. Even if I didn't love that place, I saw it as mine, my family's. I had to protect it. But I was in over my head. I grabbed the rifle again and walked upstairs. I didn't say anything. Calling out would only make a potential intruder know that I heard them. I made it to the top of the stairs, and I turned on the light for the upstairs hallway. There were 5 doors to open, all of them closed. 4 led to bedrooms, 1 led to the bathroom. Each door had a decently large...
Damn, four bedrooms? How many do we have here? We have 1, 2... Here we have upstairs, we have 1 bedroom, 3 bedrooms, 1 closet, 1 bathroom. Yeah, 3 bedrooms, 1 closet, 1 bathroom. So that's all up here. It seems pretty small actually, but I guess it's actually pretty big realistically with all the rooms. But the hallway is like really small. It's like really, it's not narrow, but it's just like literally like washroom, like my room, washroom, room, like bedroom, closet, then just by the stairs. So, anyways, yeah. Honestly, this 13, I gotta give like major kudos to this kid, bro, because I would not be able to, even as a 20 almost 25-year-old, but I'm just gonna keep as 24 because I'm gonna say almost this age. I'm not that age yet, so 24 it is. I'm 24 and I didn't even hold a gun, so for him to hold a rifle at 13, 11 years younger than me, that's pretty fucked up, bro. And like to use it and like have the balls just to even like look around the house. Yes, you have a gun, but still, that's fucking terrifying. Like I would never, especially at 13. Nope.
crack underneath that would allow you to see under. The
Okay.
creak in the ceiling I heard moments earlier came from the side of the house my parents' bedroom was on. So I got down on my knees and looked under the crack of the door, and I saw 2 bare feet facing the other side of the door. I felt my stomach twist into a knot. The reality of the situation just became so much more real, and I realized I wasn't ready to threaten or, God forbid, shoot someone. I got up and quickly went downstairs, and I hid in the bathroom to call my dad. He still didn't pick up.
911.
I left another voicemail, and then I called again and again. He never picked up. He must have had his phone set down somewhere. I finally called 911, as I should have done right away.
Yes.
And I whispered into the phone the whole time, detailing exactly what was taking place. I was told to sit tight in the bathroom and not say a word. I heard footsteps coming down the stairs, and then they approached the bathroom door, as if whoever it was somehow knew I went straight to the bathroom.
Fuck, bro.
The footsteps stopped outside the door, and there was a brief pause before a deep voice said, "What's up, kid?" I still remember the
Oh my god, bro. They know you're there. What's up, kid? Oh my god. Oh, I can't. I literally can't. Fuck.
voice and those words so vividly. If I heard that voice today, I'd still recognize it immediately. I almost wanted to cry. That's how scared I was. I disobeyed what the operator told me, and I spoke. I said loud and clear, "I'm on the phone with the cops right now, and I have a gun." I put the operator on speaker, as she was asking me if everything's okay. The man attempted to open the door, and when he realized it was locked, I heard him walk away. I heard the footsteps fade to silence, and then the sound of a door slamming. It was the sound of the back door. I'm sure I breathed a sigh of relief, and from there on, I waited for the police to arrive. When they did, I felt like £1,000,000 just lifted off my shoulders. After a thorough inspection of the house inside and out, confirming that the man was gone, they asked if there was anywhere else I could stay that night, and I said yes, my uncle's house. We contacted my uncle, who came and spoke with the police. Then he took me back to his place. The thing that haunts me the most is that it was my fault. I could have prevented this. I left the door unlocked as I went to the storage building to investigate. Clearly, that's when the man simply walked right into the house.
Oh, okay, so it was your bad. Okay. Yeah, because the whole time I was kind of like, wait, he's in your bath, or he's in that room with bare feet and everything. But how does he even? How did he get inside if there's no damage? Fuck. How do you forget to lock the door in that case, bro? Like, okay, you're 13. I'll give you that. Imagine going to investigate something where a person might be on your like premises, your property, and then the one thing you forget to do is lock the door behind you. What? It's kind of stupid if you ask me, but you know, I guess if you're a kid, then you can forget. Like even as an adult, you can forget shit. So I'll let that one slide. But yeah, that's definitely your fault. You fucked up. At least there was no damage, nothing stolen, hopefully. But what's up, kid? Bitch, I have a gun. You know I have a gun. So you better back the fuck up. Of course, you don't want to use it. Like you just want to threaten them and say that, you know, I got a gun, bitch. So if worst comes to worst, bang bang.
Even with a rifle in my hands, I didn't feel safe at all. It was truly the most horrific experience of my life.
That's honestly terrifying. It is terrifying. Kate. Bro, I just can't imagine, bro. Like, fuck, that's so terrifying. Like, we have, our backyard was just kind of like redone, so it's a lot better than it was before. I remember my mom found someone in her backyard in the morning, and then and then he asked, can I take this? And my mom's like, no, get out. And then he left. But, like, what the fuck? Like, that was fucking scary, bro. I remember, like, deadass, bro. Oh my god. I would like to submit a story myself, but it's like I can't really submit a story because I remember I was dead ass. It was like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. It was summertime. It was warm. I was wearing shorts. I was outside sending voice messages to my sister. And I was just like pacing back and forth on the driveway, on the sidewalk, things like that. And I've told this story before during a horror video. At the side of the house, we have a light. We have a sensor activated light. So when you walk by, the light turns on. So the light turns on, and I was like, no, no one's there. It's midnight. A whole entire human man just walks up the driveway toward the sidewalk, like from my backyard, and I was like, froze in my tracks. Did not even know what to say, bro. I still have the voice message too, because I was sending a voice message actively to my sister, and then I kept recording because I was like, what the fuck? I just froze. Like, I deadass never was so scared in my life. Like, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, fuck, that was so fucking creepy, though. And, bro, I don't even know. Like, the guy was like, sorry, wrong trip or bad trip. And I was like, okay. I was so close to saying, how'd you get back there? Like, what the fuck? Like, how'd you get there? Like, it's a backyard. Fence. Well, I guess he can't climb the fence, but what the fuck, bro? Like, fuck. So fucking scary. I hate being home alone. I take back what I said earlier.
I was 18 when
Actually, I lied. If I'm in a condo with like several other people living there, like you need the front door's locked, you need your pass to get in, you need your pass to scan past 2 doors, you take the elevator up to your room, and obviously your front door's locked. I feel like I would feel so much safer in like a condo, or like not like a condo or like a good apartment, one that's not like bummy or one that's not like full of druggies or anything, like things like that, because some apartments are like that. But if it's like a condo with like a bunch of normal peeps around, the only thing I'm scared of is like people being stupid, causing a fire, and then obviously the alarm goes off and then you have to leave, right? It's the only thing I like about being in a house is like you basically control. If you freaking burn your house down with like freaking cooking or some shit like that, right? But you never know what'll happen in an apartment. But that's basically where I would feel kind of safe. Because like you're literally in a building, the main doors are locked, you need a pass to get in, obviously someone can break in, there's cameras, there's security, so I feel like that's kind of better, right? That's better than a house. There's no security for a house unless you have like a security system.
I was 18 when my parents went away on a week-long anniversary trip. My sister had already moved out by this point, so I had to hold the fort. My parents' property is enclosed by woods and a dirt driveway leading to the road. The road is a quiet back road with equally sized properties running alongside it.
Sus.
All of them separated a decent
Especially with like woods and shit, sus.
distance, so it's a really isolated feel up there. Everyone in town knows each other. You see familiar faces all the time for the most part.
Okay.
At the gas station, at the grocery store, at the bars, which I learned a few years later when I started going to them. Speaking of gas stations, this story starts one day while my parents were away. I was at a gas station filling up my tank when a black Jeep Cherokee pulled up to the pump next to mine. A man with a goatee stepped out, greeted me, and started filling his tank. In that town, it was normal for strangers to greet each other like that. He had his nozzle locked into the gas tank, and then he walked around to my side of the pump and went, "Excuse me, do you know how to get to the interstate from here?" I helped him to the best of my ability.
Yeah, that's a normal question, just asking for help, nothing sus about that yet, everything's good for now.
He pulled out a notepad and started writing down the directions I gave him. Very odd how he wouldn't just do that on his cell phone like anyone else would.
Yeah.
He thanked me and asked if I'm from the area. I said, yeah,
Now it's kinda sus.
I grew up here, and he said he's from out of town. He didn't specify where. He then went back to his side and put the nozzle back in the pump.
Okay.
He then asked my name, as he said, "It's nice meeting you."
I get it. All I did is ask for directions, and then you want my name? No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Yeah, my name is John Smith. That's my name.
I said, "My name's Kate." He said, "What a lovely name," and then got in his car as I got into mine. I drove out first and turned left to go up the road back home.
No, I would have let him go first.
It was only a few minutes worth of driving before I was approaching our turn into the driveway. I slowed down and put my blinker on, then turned right onto the property. It was at that moment that I noticed the car behind me was that same black Jeep Cherokee. He passed me as I turned into our driveway. He went the complete opposite way that I told him to go to get to the interstate. As he passed me, he didn't slow down or anything, so it seemed that maybe he just forgot the directions I gave him and went the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I let myself inside and went about the rest of my day doing whatever.
I'm sure that's what happened.
I think it was that night that I was going out to meet up with my friends that I stepped outside and walked to my car and heard the sound of footsteps nearby. Like I said, the house is enclosed by woods, and this was in the middle of the summertime. It could have been any number of animals, so I didn't investigate. I just got in my car and left. But when I got back home hours later and walked from my car to the house, a man's voice from out somewhere in the woods called out, "Kate."
Oh my god. Kate. What? Bro, I'd be fucking terrified. Oh my
I got
god.
chills as I looked around, and then in a panic rushed to open the front door. I slammed it shut and sat on the couch to breathe. The neighbors all knew my name, but the houses are not on top of each other, so it's a bit of a walk. And there was no reason for one of them to call my name like that, like a creep, and not
In the woods.
identify themselves.
In the middle
I
of the
decided
night.
to call my parents to tell them, and their explanation was it must have been one of the neighbors, and they'll probably knock on the door. I didn't tell them about the encounter at the gas station. The next day, which was a Saturday, I stayed home most of the day, and later that night, I once again was going out to meet with my friends. After getting ready and everything, I went outside, and as I was walking to my car, I heard loud and clear from the not-so-far distance, someone called Kate again. This time, I didn't wait a second. I ran back inside the house and locked the door again. I called 911 this time, texting my family while doing so. After 2 cops showed up to the house, they looked around the perimeter of the property with their flashlights, then came back and said to call again if this persisted. I didn't feel much better after this. It's not really like they did much. I refrained from going outside until the next day when I had work.
I mean, the police can't do much if you're literally just if no one's there upon investigation. Like, what are they gonna do? If there's no cameras in there, they can't get a photo. You can't do anything. The cops can't stay there either, right? They can't fucking wait there and stay there.
I was a server at a nearby restaurant. I was working a late shift. I left the house in broad daylight, paranoid to hear that voice again. Thankfully, though, I didn't.
Because it's
The
daytime.
police car finally scared them off. After many hours at work, I was ready to go home and collapse into bed. I pulled onto the property, parked my car out front, and walked to the front door. I stopped when I heard the sound of footsteps again. It didn't sound like an animal's footsteps, though. I stood on the front deck for a second, waiting. And then, that familiar voice yelled out,
Kid, fuck off, bro. I'm gonna shove a broom up your ass, bro. Fuck off. Sorry, I see kind of like a broom here. That's why I looked at that and I was like, bro, fuck off before I shove a broom up your ass. Like, get the fuck away from my house.
out again, saying, "Kate, don't call the cops on me again, cutie." I yelled out, "You need help, you're sick," and let myself inside. I called the cops once more. The cops came again, searched the perimeter again, and left. My parents told me I should stay at a friend's house for the night. I couldn't agree more. They would be back the following night, so
And you make sure that the car doesn't follow you. It was your stupid decision to not. Like, I guess you're not gonna really like suspect that that guy's following you. Obviously, I'm watching a horror story, so I already know something bad's gonna happen. So it's like it's kind of already anticipated that something bad's gonna happen. But at the same time, in this scenario, like you're not gonna know for sure, right? Like all of a sudden, well, this guy's gonna follow you. Better watch out. Like you're not gonna expect that, right? So fair.
after that, I would feel much safer being there. My friend Alex told me I could stay with her that night, so I packed a bag and was ready to go. I checked out the windows first to make sure the coast was clear. I then went outside and locked the door as fast as I could, then ran to the car. As I turned the key in the ignition, I heard something right to my left. Right outside the driver's side door was a man wearing a face mask trying to open the door. I couldn't even scream. I felt like I was choking on air. As I put the car in drive, he started hitting the glass with his elbow. I looped my car around on the grass and sped down the
Bro, fucking run this bitch over, bro. Fuck off.
driveway, and I turned right up the road and didn't stop until I got to Alex's house. I was hysterically crying the whole drive there as I had Alex and her dad on the phone with me. He said he would have come and picked me up had he known the situation. We called the police together for a third time in total. A couple officers went to my parents' house to investigate again, make sure no windows were shattered or anything. One officer came to Alex's house where I once again gave my description of what happened. This was probably the most action these cops had seen in a long time in this quiet town. Thankfully, my parents came home the next day, and I felt safe staying at home again. I fully believe the man at the gas station followed me home intentionally and scoped the place out, realizing I was by myself, and for whatever reason toyed with me, until he actually tried to pounce and get me. I shouldn't have given my real name, and I should have been more alert to my surroundings and realized he was following me in my car that day.
Yep.
Some people are nuts and have way too much time on their hands. This incident was a huge motivating factor in my moving out to my own apartment a few months later.
Honestly, you guys gotta be careful, bro. Like, anything could really happen. Like, literally anything could happen, and it could happen to anybody. You, Brad, Andy, Kate, whatever the fuck the first story was, the first name in the story. I'm pretty sure it was some guy, though. That's all I know.
A car and enough money to move. That was the plate to do.
Yeah. So Christian, a guy, and then Kate, and then another guy, I
A
guess.
few months later.
Oh, God. I hate people, man.
I was home alone one night for a reason I don't remember. All I remember is my entire family was gone. I was 15 or 16 years old. I was a big gamer at
Why is everyone so fucking young? Like 13, 15, 16, 18. Like, bro, fuck.
the time. I was obsessed with StarCraft, and admittedly I'd sometimes spend a weekend night or two playing StarCraft or some other PC game.
Okay.
This was right before COVID lockdown started. I was playing StarCraft on my computer in my bedroom on the first floor. That's when the doorbell rang, twice. I hurried to the door, not wanting to be away from the game for too long in fear of losing. I got to the front door and said, "Who is it?" as I always would if I was alone. A soft and weak voice on the other side said something that I couldn't hear. It sounded like a woman. I opened the door, with the storm door still separating me and this older woman standing on the other side, with a big smile on her face. She had her hands behind her back. I said through the door, "Can I help you?" She said she needed to use a phone, and asked if she could come inside.
No.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was always taught not to let a stranger into the house, ever. That included women. I felt so awkward, though, I didn't know how to turn her away. I redirected her to the library a few blocks down, because they'd surely have a phone. Deep down, I knew the library was closed at this point, but I was just trying to get the stranger who was trying to get into my house to leave. She was still smiling, but what she said next did not match her smile. She said, "That's very rude to turn away an old lady asking for help."
Yeah, but this could be a setup, and bro, you learn not to trust anybody. I don't care if you're a girl. I don't care if you're like a sweet little 10-year-old girl. Well, okay, maybe I'll care then, but some people literally use kids to like lure to like get inside houses and break in. Like some people use kids, bro. That's why like you literally have to be so fucking careful. Like I don't care if it's an 80, 85-year-old, 90-year-old, a fucking 1-year-old out your fucking door. It could all be a setup, bro. And it's fucking scary. You honestly never fucking know. You honestly never know.
I replied the only way I could think to, and that was that my parents don't allow strangers into the house. It's a house rule. I slowly started closing the door as I was saying sorry, and she just stood there, not moving, but still smiling at me.
Like,
Though her
or like what kind of smile? Like, that's very rude. That's very rude of you to turn away an old lady like that. It's like, what the fuck?
smile never changed. It suddenly felt much more menacing. I was walking back to my room when the doorbell rang again. There was no way in hell I was opening the door again. That woman radiated weird vibes from the start. Maybe something was wrong with her. Maybe she wasn't all there. These were things I had no way of knowing. And maybe that was selfish of me to send her on her way. But I just wasn't opening the door for anyone when I was home alone.
And
I
I'm
went back to my
15,
game.
16 years old.
Not too long after I sat back down, I heard something tapping on the window. It was a clinking type sound from something metal. The window was directly in front of my desk. I had the blind pulled down so I couldn't see what was making the noise, but I already had an idea. My room was the only room with a light on in the house. The horrible thought that it was the old woman from just before, and that she walked over to my window, terrified me. I turned off the sound on my computer. At this point, I didn't care about my game anymore. The clinking sound on the window persisted. I basically said "F this," and up and left to a different room in the house. I
Fuck
sat in
this.
the darkness of the living room for a bit, when the doorbell rang again. This woman was harassing me now. I tried to convince myself she wasn't a threat, just some crazy old woman who's probably clueless as to where she is.
Never know.
When she rang the doorbell a second and third time, I decided to go open the door and ask her if there's someone I could call for her. But when I opened the door, there was now a man on the other side.
Oh, see what I mean, bro? You can't.
He looked to be about 10 years younger than her. He said through the storm door, "Have you seen my mother?" I replied saying yes, she came to my door just before. He then apologized to me and said she has dementia and got out of the house. I suddenly felt bad, but he asked me if he could come in for a minute, and again I felt awkward.
No. No, you cannot.
Why did he need to come inside? I said the same thing that I told to the woman who
Bruh, it's a setup. This woman and the guy, I'm telling you, it's a fucking setup like I told you guys before. It's a fucking setup.
claimed to be his mother.
Nope.
I said we could just talk through this door. I then said that I think she went into my backyard because I heard something at my window. I told him he could go around back and check. He thanked me and walked down the walkway, and I thought he went into the backyard. But when I went to the back and looked out the back window, expecting to see him searching around, I saw nobody. Not him or his mom. This was all too weird for me. I went to bed on the earlier side that night, just falling asleep with the TV on in the background, until I heard the clinking sound on the window again. Something metal was tapping on the glass. I remembered the concerned man, and I decided to try and help. I went to the window, lifted the blind up with my hand, and I saw that woman outside my window, with that same creepy smile. She was tapping a kitchen knife on my window. I closed the blind and crawled back into my bed. This didn't feel like it was actually happening. A suspiciously short amount of time later, the doorbell rang like 4 times. The clinking on the window stopped by this point. This was all too suspicious. It felt like some kind of robbery attempt. I ignored the doorbell. I stayed in my bed. I was gonna wait this out. I didn't have a cell phone at this time. I wasn't the most social guy growing up. I also didn't want to call the police for some reason. I waited this all out until it finally stopped. The next morning, I told my dad what happened when I called him. He told me I was smart not to open the door. Everyone agreed that everything about it sounded like an attempted robbery. Is there a chance that maybe that woman really did have dementia and that the man was really her concerned son? Maybe, but it all seemed too coordinated. Why did he want to come into the house too? How did he even know she came to my house specifically?
Yep.
Why didn't he ever go into the backyard to look for her when I gave him permission to do so?
Yep.
Too many unanswered questions that lead me to believe I avoided something terrible happening if I opened that door. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, a week ago as I'm recording this, something happened to me personally that inspired me to revisit this theme. So my friend Cody asked me to watch his dog Theo for the night. Theo's a little Pomsky and he barks a lot. So when he started barking like crazy at something going on outside, I didn't pay any attention to it besides telling him to be quiet a few times. But when he went to the back door and kept barking, I figured he wanted to go outside. So I was going to the back door to open it, but as I got close to the door, I realized someone was trying to open the door from the outside. And then I saw through the screen of the door there was another guy looking right back at me. This was in the backyard, which was already alarming enough, and he wasn't someone I recognized to be a family member of Cody's. So I asked him who he is, and he responded asking me if I'd seen Melissa. Melissa is Cody's younger sister who's in her 20s. Meanwhile, this guy looked like he was in his mid-50s and homeless. So I told him he needs to leave. There's no Melissa who lives here. And he said, "You sure?" So I said, "Yeah, you need to leave. There's cameras all over the property." He left right after that. Getting him to leave was easy, but when Cody asked his sister who that guy could have been, she said she had no idea. The guy looked like he was 55, drunk and filthy. Not exactly someone Cody's 20-something-year-old sister would be associating with. The fact that he went to the back door and tried letting himself in was actually pretty terrifying because you could only imagine what he was trying to do to Melissa, and it's why so many of these stories could be avoided by just keeping your doors locked.
So yeah, that obviously wasn't a long story, but what the fuck? Bro, I made this video, why are you giving it to me? This looks creepy. When the fuck was this made? This was probably made a while ago, wasn't it? Probably a year or something.
That bike is
a year
so...
ago. I was kind of thinking, wait, did this come out like yesterday or something? It's only 18 minutes, that's why I was kind of confused. I was like, Damian videos are longer than this now. Fuck, that was honestly terrifying though, bro. This video was a little different because I included a personal experience I had very recently, and I figured I made it worth it to do another Home Alone themed video. Imagine being the guy who scared Mr. Nightmare. That's going to be some sort of accomplishment right there. Never ever let a stranger into your home, especially when you're alone, even if you're an adult. If someone you don't know asks to come in, send them away. It sounds mean, but it's a scary world out there. Exactly, like if you can actually trust people nowadays, then yeah, sure, you want to use my phone, go ahead. Nope, because you're probably going to die, or get robbed, or both. Literally sees an old woman tapping a knife on the window. It goes back to bed. Okay, good night. Yeah, I'm calling the police. Mr. Nightmare's own story. Let's go. Mr. Nightmare out here having horror stories of his own. Poor Mr. Nightmare. $100? Yo, it's his own story. Yes, I've been waiting so long for this. Jeez, $100? Bro, I hope he sees this. I fucking hope so too, bro. I mean, it is highlighted. A little bit in like red or something. I can only imagine how scary a home invasion must be. I imagine most people see their house as a safe haven, but forget it isn't a magical barrier that can keep all forms of danger out. If it's not an I was waiting for that, but I also couldn't say the word. Impenetrable. Okay, yeah, that's what. Okay. If it's that word, you're not 100% safe. Facts. I know Mr. Nightmare has done school horror stories before. I think specifically doing teacher horror stories could be a good theme for a video. Every student deserves to be taught by a stable person with good intentions, but that sadly is not always what happens. At the same time, teachers will meet all kinds of people in their classroom and are bound to have had a student or even a parent who creeped them out. Best good night story comes from Mr. Nightmare. I'm glad I didn't watch this at nighttime. It's like 3:16 p.m. right now, and I'm really glad I watched this now. The guy in Final Story should have called the cops. It's crazy he didn't call the cops after all this harassment. But I know, like, I have 15, 16 years old, but cops, thank you. Putting the phone on your bed and listening to Mr. Nightmare in the dark while trying to sleep is the best. Yeah, until someone knocks on your window. Until you mistaken someone knocking on the window in real life to someone knocking on the window in the video. And then you're like, oh fuck. Please do more funeral home stories and horror stories and or prison horror stories. Oh, EMT. I was like, I thought it said horror stories and prison horror stories. So I was like, what? You know, shit goes down when even Mr. Nightmare shares his own story. Exactly. The fact that Mr. Nightmare has his own story is so crazy. This man makes my day better. Last comment, or second last comment. This situational awareness is very important in keeping yourself safe. Always be aware of what is going on around you. And if you sense someone acting strange, trust your instincts and don't put yourself into a situation where that person can be alone with you. It's better to be a little paranoid and stay safe than to disregard your instincts and to get yourself into trouble. Exactly. When you think, thank you, sorry. I don't know what the fuck I got when you think of. Thank you, Mr. Nightmare, for almost 10 years of great stories. Started listening to you in 3rd grade, now I'm going to be a senior in high school. That's great. 5 years. You cure my anxiety. Bro, this is gonna cause anxiety. This doesn't cure anxiety, this causes anxiety, bro. What you talking about? With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I really got for you guys. It is a long video, so hopefully you guys are still here at the end. 2 fingers for this video. I know it's a Mr. Hammer video, so not many views are gonna happen on this video, but I hope you guys do like this video. You can recommend other horror stories or other horror videos if you guys want to, except Madison. I don't trust you no more. You stay away. Now you can watch my videos and stuff, but like stay away from the comment section. Don't comment nothing about suggestions, please. Because now you got me fucked up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to me, guys.